A very good evening. Welcome to another interesting, exciting edition of Big Talk. Happy holidays. My name is Ubong Osoro in Abuja, and I'm saying welcome to the program. It's a program where we highlight political issues concerning Nigeria and how to move the country forward. We look at different perspectives and bring all of this into one point. And the focus is always Nigeria and how we could get Nigeria working and working right. Tonight on the program, we'll look at INEC deregistration of some political parties at a time after some elections and what it means for Nigeria, especially for those who feel that they have the constitutional right to be registered as political party, to lead this movement as political party, and what they bring to bear in the Nigerian democratic scene. Let's go for a short break, and when we go back, we'll get right into the conversation for tonight. We'll be right back after this break. So after the 2019 elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, carried out an assessment of all political parties in Nigeria, and looking at Section 225A of the 1999 Constitution as amended, INEC got the right from there, that's what it says, to deregister 74 political parties, leaving us with only 18 political parties to run our country, our political parties that can, associate and do, people can contest for offices on their platforms in Nigeria. And some of the reasons INEC, advanced was that it has the rights from the Nigeria's constitution to do that. And there were issues as to political parties who've not won electoral offices, from the president to senators to governors and what level. They should be registered, and they were registered 74 political parties in total in 2022. All right, so joining us tonight to help make sense of this discussion, we have Idris Waziri. Idris Waziri was a member and contested for governorship in Yobe State in 2019 on the platform of Alliance for Social Democrats, right? And he is also the founder of the Fiscal and Civic Rights Enlightenment Foundation. And he's joined us tonight to help make sense of this. The 2027 general elections, INEC deregistration of political parties in focus. Thank you so much, Barrister Idris, for coming on the program tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with your contesting for governorship of Yobe State in 2019. And on the platform that you contested on the platform of the Alliance for Social Democrats. And why did you choose to contest, and why did you choose the platform at the time?
Right, so my reason for being in politics in general is basically like I said, I call myself a protest politician. I am here to basically energize and wake up our generation. We have the numbers, we make up what in essence should be the actual voice. So you missed out that I'm also the initiator of the Awaken movement. Awaken stands for Arise with an exclamation mark. We are the key electorate of Nigeria. If we can realize that, then we change this country. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So why did I contest? I contested to be able to show my people that we can do it. We don't need any masters or any godfathers or anything. We just need to unite ourselves. That's number one. Number two, why did I choose the party? The word social that was in there. I am a socialist politician. I believe in socialist ideals. Mm-hmm. So hence that, and now why I chose the PRP as my preferred choice party, but apparently, like I said, they are also now under threat of being deregistered.
All right, so let's talk about the party at that time, Alliance for Social Democrats. And INEC is saying constitutionally they have the right, and they will have the right going forward, except anything changes, to deregister political parties that do not win elections. Do you think that, let's talk, you are a lawyer, you walk us through your thoughts as to this deregistration, because there's also a conversation as to the fact that we have so many political parties in Nigeria at the time, and they weren't really contributing to our advancement of our democracy.
Okay, so I agree that there are too many political parties, right? But that, in a sense itself, is because of how the constitution or the premise for political parties are being framed. Political parties are mere vehicles by which people can contest for elections. There is no room for independent candidacies, right? So you have to pick a party, and that's for you. Since you can't restrict people from registering parties, some people have even turned it into a business. They will register a party knowing full well that a politician will come and pay them 2 to 10 billion naira every election cycle if they have a party to be registered. Look at Atiku, for example, right? Always jumping from one party to another every election cycle because he doesn't have a particular ideology. And none of these parties are actually built on ideology. Mm-hmm. Republicans, Democrats. You see, in America, there are just two parties. And almost everybody falls on one line of the political divide. You're either Democrat, liberals, or you're Republican, traditional conservatives, right? So for me, as much as people want to criticize Trump, I'm actually aligned with him in terms of his traditional politics, his conservative politics, because I feel I'm conservative in my politics, traditional in my politics, because why? That's what we were before the colonials came. We were a traditional society, hence why there was even indirect rule. We already had a working system. They didn't change it, you know what I mean? So in terms of, are there too many parties? Yes, but should you deregister parties on their first attempt? No, I think that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? You have to give a party at least enough time. How do I grow a movement? How do I grow anything in one election cycle? You know what I mean? Other than the whatever nefarious reasons that there are for deregistering parties and what have you. So we have so many parties. Is that a problem? Really? Do you understand? If the people don't vote for my party or your party, and every cycle we're just there and we don't make any vote, who is that one disturbing? Do you understand? Let me show you how ridiculous some of the kind of thinking and logic behind the deregistration or the prevention of political parties being registered, right? I know a lady who's trying to register a party that should be kind of like women focused. So I actually wanted to join her party because, again, I believe the women are the fabric of any society. They are the ones that actually we need to fix our social before we fix our political and economic, right? The reason I gave her for not registering her party, believe it or not, is that her logo resembles a party that has already been deregistered. Did you hear what I said? her logo resembles a party's logo that party no longer exists. So that is the reason. So is that an administrative lapse within INEC, or is that just that somebody that does not supposed to be shouldn't be on a seat, is on a seat making decisions that are way above their pay grade? But either way, that reason is not a legitimate reason, and it's one reason why me as an NGO right now that publicly advocates for people should take up that woman's cause and say, I don't understand though. How? Because sometimes I know a lady who has been challenging the British embassy for I think about almost 4 or 5 years now because they denied her visa. Always now with apology they gave her visa recently. She just called me like a few days ago. I got the visa, I got it. She was dogged and she was resolute in chasing this thing. No, you have no reason to deny me. You can deny people on a blanket stereotype thing, but no, if you are doing your work, you will find that I am not somebody who should be denied a visa. Look at me, I'm a director level here in my country. I have family. What makes you think I want to go and stay in your country? Your country, like I said, there's nothing your country is offering me. So what are you doing me like younger as if you're doing me a favor, you're denying me my visa? She won her case. Like I said, everything is about you being dogged enough, resolute enough to actually follow through. If you follow through, you'd find that the law is almost always on your side.
All right, so that is something that you've said, about the fact that you have to follow through. But INEC has also stated, I don't know if you've seen some of the reasons. One is that when we have so many political parties on the ballot, the voters may be confused as to what to pick and what not to pick, and the ballot becomes very long and it becomes very bulky, printing longer ballot papers and all of that. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen that excuse. I'll call it an excuse, right? What I'm trying to say is I'm not against the deregistration of parties. I accept it. That is the law of the land, no problem. I'm just saying apply the law equally, right? If you're going to deregister my party and 73 others and be threatening others to be deregistered right now on the flimsy reason of not us, we haven't won seats. Oh yeah, the one that won seats and went there to rape our constitution, sell our commonwealth to themselves, right? In violation of the constitution. So you are using INEC laws to deregister party. I am saying the constitution was violated by the ones you have been allowing to scale through, right? So is it that you are playing double standards? Is it that you have closed your eye to the reality? Because as a referee to this particular football game, I am not seeing equality even before the whistle is blown. You know what I mean? I'm seeing one party, albeit under the guise of my supporters and everything, but everywhere you go now, Lagos, Abuja, the Tinubu machine is in full-blown campaign, right? And INEC is being silent. Are we in campaign mode? We're not, as far as I know. We haven't reached that point. So why is one party being allowed to just parade themselves up and down to the visual, whatever, of the Nigerian public, subliminally pummeling themselves into the minds of the people as the only preferred candidate for an election that has not yet begun? The cycle has not yet begun. So really, INEC, you have a lot of questions to answer in terms of your fairness, your equality. Right now, I'm not seeing it. So I'm not disputing the need to deregister and reduce our number of parties. I'm all for that. I'm just simply saying you set a precedent for deregistration of parties, right? I'm saying before this 2027 election, if that is your basis for deregistration, then PDP and APC must be deregistered. Do you understand? And if they are to be deregistered, now, Mr. Attorney General, these people cannot do these things. That's why in yesterday's program I said, the problem is not that we don't have laws. Our problem is that we're not enforcing the laws. So you cannot come and sell our commonwealth, violate us, put so many people in poverty, right? And then expect to now contest in the next election. There must be repercussions for that kind of gross violation. Do you understand? So if that is the case, then bar these people, Attorney General, we're prosecuting you for 10 years, bar. We're not going to chase you for the corruption. Me, I'm a person of, let be bygones be bygones. Just give us the driving seats, you understand? But we don't want to see you for another 10 years. After 10 years, after serving your debt to society by just disappearing, we're not putting anybody in prison, no. Just go away and then come back after 10 years. That way, we would have had time to stabilize this country, put it in the right order, in the right direction. And if by then you want to come and join the train that is moving in the right direction, by all means, come and join. But for now, INEC Chairman, Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Chief Justice of the Federation, the ball is all in your court and the spotlight is all on you. All three of you have a chance to now say, Nigerians, here's your chance for a free and fair election, free of anybody that is in this caliber of people, i.e. APC, PDP, anybody that has held executive positions in those parties, anybody that has been a deputy of executive positions in those parties, and more importantly, anybody that's held DG or whatever, so DG or BPE. So someone like Nasir El-Rufai, former governor, as well as former DG or BPE, under whose watch all of this happened. You know what I mean? So if we can say, oh yeah, 10 years, that's your punishment for doing this violation. Based on INEC's precedent, like I said, I'm a lawyer, so now when I do, I'm just saying, oh yeah, if that is the case, then apply it across the board. So this is the People's Court here talking. I haven't filed this case, but it's ready to be. I've given it to you. Yes, and like I said, I am sharing my statement of claim. I'm not afraid of you. You cannot defend this thing. So if INEC, that's your precedent, which has been affirmed by the Supreme Court, then it's simple. You register these parties. I'm not saying they can't go and find new parties, but you have to be one of those people that have not are now exempt from that bar. So Mr. Tinubu, Mr. Atiku, Mr. Tin, all these people, I'm sorry to say, based on what you all did in Julian Obasanjo's time, right? Sorry, the people of the Nigerian people are saying, no, we cannot have an election with you people involved in it.
Right, so let's talk about Nigeria's political system and the role of political parties on a larger note right now, where you know that we don't have independent candidature in Nigeria. You need to run on a background of a political party. And there's been some talks about the fact that our political party, especially those who are in opposition, are not offering a very vibrant opposition to the ruling parties. From the PDP in 1999 to 2011, 2015, where the APC came in. And now the APC, we are not seeing a very vibrant opposition. You are in opposition, and it is your branch of opposition that is talking about deregistration now. And maybe some other branch of opposition are thinking of major coalition and different other methods to, project their opinions. I like that you talk about Nigeria's opposition parties and how they've been able to challenge the ruling party over time.
Well, again, I agree with you. I don't think there's been any viable opposition. Opposition in Nigeria is simply, I am on the other side. But what is the other side? The other side is basically another three-letter acronym for another vehicle that is made up of the same people that were in that same, so let's assume PDP now and APC, right? Are they not the same characters that were in PDP that have now formed the APC? Are they not the same characters that are now come to jump to Labour Party? So when you took a Labour Party, APC and PDP, they are just a recycling of the same group of people. They just keep changing letters. So today now we have ADC as the new opposition, right? And because of the political heavyweights that have jumped into that vehicle, it is now all of a sudden from overnight. The same way they were doing to Peter Obi in 2023, you don't have structure, you don't have that, whatever, right? At least Peter Obi picked a party that had been around for a while, Labour Party, right? And he now did, hey, check it out. I was able to raise a movement that was able to jump into a party, and he gave PDP at least a run for their money in the last election. Someone that both PDP and APC never thought would ever come close. Even me, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? I was pleasantly surprised at what happened with Peter Obi, because it showed, hello, hang on, a movement is actually possible in this country. Do you understand? So when you asked me about party earlier on, I am intending to get a party before the 2027. Like I said, I'd already decided I'm a PRP, and I will remain a PRP member. Don't get me wrong. I am a socialist, and I believe in Aminu Kano's party, and I believe that socialism is the best model around the world. It works in China, it works in Russia, and the only place it's not working are the people that have been trying to force their own way down our throats, down the world's throats. And clearly, if you look at, like now, we grew up in a time when there was a Cold War. And what was the Cold War about? It was America trying to push capitalism, Russia trying to push communism, right? Now, China, in between those two heavyweights fighting, has quietly done a hybrid of the two models. And look at where they are now. They're the world's leading economy. They're leading everything. You know what I mean? So forget that they don't speak English. Forget that it's not their films we're watching. They are the world leaders right now, no matter what America, how many, in outside they say Shure doesn't, that means you can kick and kick. When death is here, you are going to die. You understand? So America, in my own analysis, America is on its way down. Empires last about, civilizations last about 200 years thereabouts. America has done its ride, had its done, and it's now on its decline. All of this right now is, like I said, Trump is coming to Nigeria Not because he really cares about Christians or anything. He's here to take our resources. But unlike the Chinese that are here doing business with us, trying to build infrastructure with us, you want to use military might and just come and take it by force. Do you understand? It's not like that. Like I said, if you want to talk business, let's talk business. We need some of your things. But let's talk with from a position of where I know what my thing is worth. You know what I mean? So if I want railways, high-speed bullet trains like you have in China, I want it instantaneously. And the question is, can the Chinese, Russians, or Americans give me the best deal? Who has the best budget? Who has the best timeline? Who has the best quality of work? You know what I mean? And you present it to me and I tell you, okay, look, come and do some minor exploration in here. I've been in mining for 13 years, so I know where to point you in the right direction. Go and do your calculation. When you define what I have, what I'm sitting on, what I know I am sitting on, then let's come back to the table and discuss this, your budget. How much of it is going to be paid up front? How much is going to be paid long term? Chinese love long term. Let's do long term. And unlike other African countries, we're not going to default. Because again, we have sincerity of purpose. We know we have a 100-year plan ahead of us, you understand? And it's simple, step. So it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You have a whole chessboard. Chinese, come and do this one. Russians, come and do this one. Americans, come and do this one. There's enough of our cake for everybody to enjoy. Just don't take us for fools. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So INEC, everybody, there's a new sheriff in town. When you talk about opposition, I am the opposition, and there's been no opposition like me. Because again, I am speaking from a position that nobody has ever talked about. That's the position of the common man. You know what I mean? We are here. I am here for the common man.
Right. So let's talk about the place of collaboration in the opposition movement. We saw that to take power from the ruling PDP at the time. The PDP acknowledged that, like Sule Lamido said, they were going to rule for more 60 years, 50 years, thereabout. And we saw they did 16 years, right? Quite a lot of persons didn't think they were going to lose elections at the time because they were the party in power. And that also showed the majority coming into Nigeria's democracy where other political parties, opposition could rise. But before that happened, the APC went into a major, where we had the ACN at the time, ANPP, the new PDP, and all of that, CPC, coming to form one bloc, calling it the APC. And they were able to mobilize resources, mobilize personality, mobilize all that is needed to pose some form of real challenge to the PDP at the time. And so I'm talking about you and your position and the parties that you represent. Do you think that's the brand of politics that you may likely be playing? Because you have all of this wonderful initiative as to how to, offer good to Nigeria. But maybe you need some form of coalition or opposition or major. Are you thinking in that direction?
Absolutely. I've had several coalition meetings. Since I started my videos, like I said, I'm working with absolutely zero resources. This is me individually doing this on my own 100%. But since I started, I've been introduced to several groups who have all, in their own capacities like me, been doing their own patriotic thing to try and, one of them also wants to be president like me. The very first time I met him, the very first night I met him, they say, I think in the Bible, they say, give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. This man had gone ahead of me in terms of I want to be president. This man had made some good connections, you know what I mean? There and then, I said, I concede to you. Me, I'll go and run for governor of Yobe. This is the kind of coalition I'm looking for. So understand that I have no ambition for that seat, or even the one in Yobe. I just want to be the catalyst that sparks everything. Like I said, wakes everybody up, right? So again, that's how I met that other lady that told you that their party was denied registration because of. So his party, according to him, has been hijacked by a politician. I won't name his name. So he nominated secretary and president and chairman to INEC. That president and secretary were now hijacked by a politician, paid money. They now started writing separately to INEC, so there's not dual communication as to ownership of that party. INEC has decided to go with the politician. So the person that initiated it has lost his party. So you see, I now have two potential clients or two people that are aggrieved, like me, trying to do this thing on their own and see the bottlenecks. See how we're even trying to fight to even have vehicles to contest. That's how the powers that be are trying to push down. I mean, you have all the money in the world. You're already having the incumbency, power of incumbency. Why are you afraid of someone like me or someone like her or someone like that guy? Do you understand? What threat could we possibly pose to you other than the truth? We are better than you. We have more ideas than you. We can lead better than you. If you ask how am I better, I'll say in every way. In every way. Younger, more viral, smarter, sharper. Do you understand? And like Muhammad Ali, I even look better than you. You know what I mean? So there is no contest. I guarantee you now, if I say, come on, let's debate with any one of these people, they will run and run and run until the election time is done. Because they know they can't. Bring you and your army of people. I alone will tackle all of you. Because again, all you can do is try and whitewash what is an obvious and clear wrong. There's no justification for privatization, right. And no matter how you go about it, you can't justify it.
We'll get to that, the privatization part. But let me ask, your connection with the people, because ultimately, if you become governor, become president, it's about leading people, and you need to have some form of connection with them. How have you been connecting with people, and how have you started the movement from somewhere? How is it like, the impact and the growth and the process of getting all of these people connected to the thoughts and the mindset that you have towards, reforming or changing Nigeria?
This is a humongous task. That's why I call myself the greatest of all time politician. I'm the GOAT politician of all time, not Nigeria, not everywhere. Abraham Lincoln, there's nobody been like me, because what I'm about to achieve in Nigeria is unheard of. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of, first and foremost, you have to talk about how do you unify a country that should never have been unified in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, you're from the South, but you're from the South somewhere in the South, you know what I mean? We generalize north, south, east, west, you know what I mean? Without actually stopping and pausing and understanding how diverse we actually are, right? Now, we've been told that diversity is a negative, you know what I mean? No, I see it as a huge positive. If we were to celebrate, embrace who we are, right? Celebrate who we are. Look at the Emir of Kano, for example, right? There are many kings in Nigeria, but that's a guy who's really doing it like is supposed to be. You understand? He's doing it like how the Buckingham Palace people would do it. You know what I mean? So the Olu of Warri or Oni of Ife or Bao Benin, these first-class chiefs, right? When you have one of the modern people now occupying that suit, because everything is about who's sitting on the throne. You know what I mean? When you have the right kind of person sitting on the throne, you bow what I would do with my emirate, for example. Do you know what I mean? I was telling one of these people who's a minister, I was like, I'm shocked that, you know what I mean, I tell people that I have a friend who's a minister, and they're like, who? When I call his name. Because I'm like, if I was holding your position, not be Nigeria, they will know me. They will know me in the whole world. Because there's so much to do. And we are the engine room of Africa. Do you understand? So there's no, people keep talking about ministerial portfolios. Give me National Orientation Agency and see what wonders I will do for you. I don't need a ministerial position. Either give me NOA or give me that livestock position, that livestock agency thing. You know what I mean? These are nonsense agencies right now that almost everybody, when they announce they're giving you NOA or when they announce they're giving you now, everybody will like, oh, but give me that thing and I'll change the whole country. Do you understand? So it's not, it's like I said, they're bereft of ideas. So coalition, I'm all for coalitions. There's no way we can do it alone. I know how hard it's taken. If you see how the closest people to me right now are rallying around me because I've lost so much weight, I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, do you understand? Because it is one individual saying, I'm going to bring this whole entire house of cards down because I actually know I can be done. The only thing
right, so I asked, how are you doing? How are you mobilizing people? And how are people responding?
I have been, right now, let me give you my very fantastic feedback. So for every 5 people I talk to, 2 are immediately convinced. Just like you told me, there was one guy here that said, oh, that's my president, right? So 2 are immediately convinced with me speaking for them, telling them what I'm doing. The other 2, I'll have to speak to for 5 minutes. Once I speak to them for 5 minutes, I've got it. So that's 4 out of 5, Abi. That last one, if I like, I can speak from morning to night, from here to kingdom come. That person is never going to hear or understand what I'm saying. So my success rate since 2015, when I actually declared I was running for president, that's 10 years ago, my success rate has been actually 80% in terms of my interaction with people.
Right, so let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll still talk about your allegations against the PDP, the APC as to privatization, and you mentioned a couple of names out there that we'll be putting out for people to hear and how you intend to go about that. But let's go for this break, and when we're back, I will still have Idris Waziri. He is a political aspirant who's joined us tonight on the program. We'll be right back after this short break. Mark, if you're just joining us, this is Big Talk, a program where we highlight political issues concerning Nigeria. Tonight we have Barrister Idris Waziri. He is a political aspirant who's joined us tonight as we look at 2027 election and INEC deregistration of political parties. At the time, INEC deregistered 72 political parties after the 2019 general elections, and they quoted some part of the constitution that gives them the power to go ahead and do that. But Waziri is saying that if you must deregister, you must also deregister the PDP and the APC. But let's get to that now. You are saying that the PDP and the APC contravene Section 16, subsection 1 and Section 16, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended through economic policies of privatization, regulation, and concentration of wealth in the hands of a few individuals in Nigeria. Let's talk about that. Maybe you want to give us some more explanation on how you plan to make the laws of the land deregister a former ruling political party. They have a lot of people in Nigeria, PDP and the APC, where the titans of politics, they say, are members of at the moment.
I think the short answer to that, right, is the People's Court, right? I have deliberately not filed this case because once I file it, then I can't speak about it. You know what I mean? So my NGO is, one of the objectives is the enlightenment of the public as to their civic duties and their civic rights, okay? So in this case, we're saying your civic rights were violated, okay, and these are the people that did it. Now, if the INEC is going to be deregistering parties, then there's absolutely zero reason why they should not deregister these two. It's that simple, okay? Now, to be specific about the laws that you just quoted, specific is not just 16.1. Section 16.1 has like A, B, C, D. I'm saying Section 16.1c specifically says the state, which is the country, must manage and operate all major sectors of the economy. Power, telecoms, those kinds of things, right? Section 16.2c, right, goes further to say the state is not permitted to introduce any economic policy that allows for the concentration of wealth and the means of production and exchange in the hands of a few individuals or groups, right? So now, if you look at those two provisions, there is no way that there are several rules by which a court does statutory interpretation. The literal rule, so again, the state must manage and operate all major sectors of the economy. I think that is as simple as light and day, right? The state is not allowed, permitted, I think is the word they use, to introduce a, so whether, there was a time when I was asking whether there were resolutions of the National Assembly to allow for that. And then I now thought, wait, whatever resolution, whatever document, whatever establishment law of NCP or BPE there is, they are all subservient to the Constitution. And as far as those two provisions are there in Chapter 2, then any other act, law, or anything outside of that is what they call null and void from the get-go. So again, privatization should have never stood. There is no way it can continue to stand, again, if the judiciary is supposed to do what it's supposed to do, which is be an independent arm of government. So now me, a lawyer, acting on behalf of the Nigerian people by virtue of my NGO, which is registered with CAC, is saying, CEO, on behalf of the Nigerian people, see the violation, see the precedent set by INEC, see the Supreme Court affirmation of said precedent. Oh yeah, now you have no choice, gentlemen, but the Attorney General, come and remove this thing. Now, Attorney General, again, like I said, he has actually responded to my letter saying this is not his issue. And meanwhile, I did not tell him what INEC, PDP or APC did deliberately, by the way. I did not tell him what he did, but this is INEC chairman's problem and go in that direction. No problem. It was never actually you. I joined you in terms of notice of this action because, number one, you are the Minister of Justice, you are the Attorney General of the Federation, and by your mandate, you are supposed to represent the people. So if the people are saying this through me, then really what's supposed to happen is you are now supposed to take over this case. Now, don't get me wrong, the Attorney General has the right to stop any proceedings. But again, this is the people. So the initial question was, how do I intend to do this? Through the People's Court. This is what we're doing. We're enlightening the public as to we see what is happening. Wake up, and should in case the Attorney General were to now discontinue this case, as is his power to do, then you now know this man, this Attorney General, your staff is a compromised staff. And what do we do with compromised staff? We sack them. Don't be so. If you find say your guy and your staff within this organization is causing harm to the organization, are you not going to let him go? You have to let him go. So we're putting you on notice right now, Mr. Attorney General, that this is the issue. It is an undeniable fact. Come and prosecute it alongside with me so that you gain your favor with the Nigerian people and we do justice. Equity finally comes to the Nigerian people.
You've said you've not filed the case. So when do you intend to file the case? Is it anytime soon?
Anytime. It's at my discretion. You understand? Right now, it's like I'm holding it over there. Hey, it's when I file it now. So basically, this is now saying Nigerians. So I have it on Google Forms, right? So the case, everything, the description, all of that, and a place for you to now consent to be a party to that case is there. You know what I mean? I can share it with you. The link is there. So I haven't actually checked for a while because I'm waiting to when I'm ready. I'll not check because I can go alone. I think the last time I checked, I think I had about 40 people that had agreed to join. So I can go alone. Nothing's stopping me. I can go with me and the 40 people that are already registered, or I can go with 50 million Nigerians that have finally awoken up to the fact that, yes, so this guy is actually saying the truth. And by those signatures, those consent forms, that's my mandate.
Right. So you mentioned some things. You mentioned a privatization of Nitel, Nigerian Airways, Nikon, Delhi Trust, Nigerian Sugar Company, and all of the other things that you mentioned. Well, the government, in their response, could talk about the fact that, yes, they actually privatized to save Nigeria's economy at the time. And they could talk about the fact that the states did what was best for the country at the time. And we also know that in law, most times, we talk about out-of-court settlement and how to... Are you also thinking if they call you to maybe some form of interaction, let's talk about this. Yes, you've pointed out infractions, according to you, allegations at this point, but can we talk about it? Are you open to dialogue as to this issue?
I am the number one dialogue person. I don't think this country can move without dialogue. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm not trying to cause any chaos, constitutional chaos, because again, what I'm asking for really is calling for constitutional crisis. I'm calling for basically a snap election within 90 days by INEC, because clearly the vehicle, so remember now, the vehicle by which you came, section 224 of the Constitution says, so section 13 and section 224 says, 13 says all organs of government, that's individuals, bodies, agencies, right, must conform to, observe, and apply the provisions of Chapter 2. The same thing is said to political parties under Section 224. So that's to show you how important Chapter 2 is to me and you. This is your guideline, right? So where you have this disregard for that, and like I said, the political parties have apparently become mere vehicles by which people are contesting, right? So if you apply the fruit of the poison tree principle in law, that's if the foundation from which you attack this thing was faulty, then everything else crashes, right? So if the party by which you came into power in 2023 has actually been in violation of the Constitution since privatization was done, that's why I said PDP, APC, because you're the only parties that have been in power, you are then, ergo, no way you can continue to stand as political parties. Do you understand? Now, whether or not the Chief Justice decides to now enforce the 10-year ban that we Nigerians are now asking for, say, hey, no, you can't just come and do this thing and then there will be no consequence. And you don't come and use your money again to win it. No. At least 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is that they give us. But this 2027 you cannot complete. At least, if nothing else, it gives Nigerians a fresh air.
Right. Your interaction with INEC, I'd like to know how far so far, and
INEC has refused to answer.
And how has the reception been from their end?
Well, INEC initially, when I wrote to them, obviously there was that transition. I think the old guy was going out, the new guy was coming in. Okay. So yeah, so right now he has it on his table. Like I said, I only saw the Attorney General's response about this. I sent these letters, God knows, about 2 months, 3 months, about 4 months ago. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I only saw the Attorney General's response. PDP chairman, APC chairman, and the INEC chairman have all refused to respond technically.
Which of the PDP chairman?
Whoever it is. Whoever is current sitting, I'm about to register your party, so whoever is the current sitting, I don't understand what's going on with PDP. Just but whoever is your chairman of this faction or that faction, all of you join, be warned. your party is about to become non-existent. Better go and choose parties. So for those that are in executive positions, you take care and God bless. For those of you that are lucky that not have held those positions, feel free to go and pick another party and still be part of the process in 2027. You are not the focus of my problem.
Right. So talk about INEC response.
INEC's response, like I said, INEC, you've already set the precedent. INEC really, again, they've tied their hands already. Now, when I set precedent, Supreme Court has already affirmed this your power. So what are we talking about now? If it's like now you have deregistered me for slapping somebody. Meanwhile, this guy took stone and broke somebody's head, and you have allowed him to continue. So how is that being fair? How is that, how is 2020? So free and fair elections, we're even entering without free and fair elections because people that are not supposed to be contesting, holding, like you said, powerful positions are there. So how is it that someone like me, someone like Pat Utomi, someone like Showore, someone like Duro Toye or whatever, I can't remember his surname, how do people like us?
Duro Toye.
Yeah, how do we come out?
Yeah, so let's talk about your going forward now, right? You say for now you are with PRP.
But I'm thinking of SDP eventually.
Unforeseeable future, right? And maybe any other political party that you choose to be with going forward. In the Nigerian political system, there's a lot of money politics that is being played. Some form of sentiments. People look at where you're from, what you believe, and the ideas may not really matter at that point. How do you plan to navigate that system? Because if it is these parties, the SDP, the PRP, are you sure that you are in alignment with them and what they offer?
You know, they say, I don't read books, to be honest with you, but whenever people talk about the things that they have lifted from books, I just smile because I would have thought that was common sense, do you understand? So, for example, in Art of War, that Sun Tzu book or whatever, they say, don't go to war until you already know you've won. You know what I mean? So, understand that this is a chess game that I'm playing, and I've decided to play it against the other side, which have all the money, all the resources, all the infrastructure, all everything, right? But I am confident in the message that I'm saying that should resonate with the bulk of Nigerians. And if I get them, then your money is completely negated, all of that. Yes, there will be those that you collect. Now, my message to everybody is collect their money. I'm not saying no collect their money, but vote to your conscience. Do you understand? And again, I was asked a lot by people after 2019, what was my takeaway from 2019 elections? And I left 2019 with a bitter taste in my mouth, you know what I mean? Because if you look at my results, I think I had less than 1,000 votes, you know what I mean? But in my interactions with people, there were more people on either side. So what happened? That Alanguru mentality of the North, that Dobale mentality of the South, you understand? Nigeria's problem, right, is that the status of big manship in Nigeria is by how many people you are feeding off you, right? So that is how we define big man in Nigeria, right? But that's not how it is now. Do you understand? I kind of had a dual upbringing, both UK and Nigeria. Do you know what I mean? So in a way, I feel more UK than Nigeria, to be honest with you. And especially that Nigeria is an insane country. You know what I mean? It even makes it worse. But where you have where things go right, where things operate in a normal way, do you understand? Then the whole country's temperature comes down. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I am not against capitalist ideas. I am not against Dangote because look at Dangote, for example, right? That refinery is 100% his own. It was not sold to him by the privatization or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't have a problem. Like I said, let's take the Chinese model. I'm not against an Elon Musk rising in Nigeria. I plan to be one myself. Do you know what I mean? But why can't everybody enjoy? Why can't we have the free education, healthcare, and housing that our constitution, under I think section 17 or 18, provide for? Because we certainly have the resources for it. They're just being mismanaged. Do you understand? Look at the tunnel vision that our big men in Nigeria have for oil and gas. I remember in 2015, so I got my license in 2014. So by 2015 or 2014, I sat with someone you would call a high net worth individual, and I was trying to get him to invest in exploration of my mining license, right? And he said, "This is just a piece of paper." And I said, "Yes, sir. It's a piece of paper right now, but that piece of paper is of the same value as the oil block that all of you big men in Nigeria are desperately trying to kill yourselves and get." So the only difference between this piece of paper and the oil block, OOML, whatever it is that you guys are killing yourselves for, is the exploration right, that the Nigerian government, in addition with their Shells and Chevrons, did in the 60s and 70s, that we have refused to do in this country. And again, I keep saying, it's not government's work to do that thing. It is individuals. But again, it is not for me to go and meet Dangote or meet T.Y. Nanjuma and say, give me $15 million to go and do exploration on one site that may or may not deliver. No. You do it the same way the Australians, which is the mining capital of the world, has done it. You list junior mining companies like my own on the stock exchange there, the same way Segun Lawson listed Thor Exploration in Canada. You raise like $2-3 million from the stock market, from people dropping $10, $1. Do you understand? Where the risk is shared, nobody's going to feel if the thing loses. Do you understand? But what happens is, in those environments, right, they understand that even though my company has 6 licenses that are just fresh, there's been no work on it, right? The minute, so let's take, mining is divided into 7 stages, right? You've got your license acquisition, early exploration, advanced exploration, resource definition, I think it's feasibility study, right? Financing, and then mining. Those are the 7 stages, right? The Australian ASX, the Canadian TSX, the South African one, I don't know what they're called, I can't remember, London AIM. Let's leave London for it, but the Australian and Canadian one, the minute we list this company with this portfolio of 6 to 10 licenses on that stock exchange, and we do those stage 2 early exploration, and that's like very minimal work, right? We're talking about $200,000-$300,000 worth of exploration, to test the waters, right? When the results come back in, you're going to see some good results, some bad results inside these 10 licenses, right? If let's say only 3 come back with good results, throw away those 7 and pick up another 7. But those 3 that came back with good results, let's say you listed that company at a share price of, let's say, 30 cents. Those results in that environment, there are people that will now make it rise by, even if it's half a cent or something. But understand this, any movement of that share price, the people that invested the initial $5 million for the IPO, right, have already made their money back. Do you understand? They've already made their money back by any minimal increment of that share price. Talk less of by the time we do stage 3 and there's actually a good announcement, and then the thing goes from maybe say that 0 point something cent and it now jumps up by $1. Again, you can now remove your initial $5 million. You have already made a safe bet. You now keep your remaining $1 increment there, and from there it continues to grow. Do you see? That's how we develop our economy, and it's not costing the government, and it's not costing any individual money other than the people that came together. So let's say, for example, Dangote or Tedola, let's say Top Olemelu, or you know what I mean? You guys come together. Each one of you, myself, can fund a junior miner like myself. Do you understand? So me now, let's say me, I'm Dangote. He's my own investor. The next guy, something enterprises, he's got the Elemelu, this one. Before you know it, I swear to God, in within a matter of 18 months, Nigeria's fortunes have completely changed. We are now, mining is now on par, or possibly even bigger than the thing. That's why I said, if I'm talking to these white people or these foreign countries, I don't have a problem. Come, all of you, sit down. But understand that I know what I'm sitting on. And let's talk. Chinese, high-speed rail in Nigeria, I'm telling you, within 2 years, every nook and corner of this country has been networked. And they'll do it for free, to be paid long-term with the resources that they're all clamoring for. So why don't we, like I said, come, sit down, let's talk. Do you understand? That's how you should approach this. Not, what's in it for me? Then you collect your 10%, and that's it. Do you understand? The project never, that's why we have so many white elephant projects in this country, because the only question, it's never about the country. That's why I said I'm the only person ever talking about the common man, right? It's never about the country. It's never about the progress of the country. It's about what's in it for me. As long as he has gotten his cake, his slice, the deal can go to, you understand?
Right. Thank you so much, Idris Waziri. We have to end the show now.
No
Idris Waziri is the founder of the Fiscal and Civic Rights Enlightenment Foundation. He is a political aspirant and contested for the Yobe State governorship in 2019, and hopefully he may be running for president.
Well, president, like I said, or I'm taking Yobe and the 14 core northern states away from, well, not out of Nigeria, but within Nigeria, but operating a completely different model. Like I said, the socialist model, and we will now align with the MENA, Middle East, North Africa Alliance, and then say, hey, look, you know what, we need this thing, and let's develop this region, because again, we are the most underdeveloped region. Everybody claims we have the power. Everybody claims we're the ones in control. But I look around and I'm like, where is the benefit of that? You understand? The people are the most undeveloped. The people are the most unenlightened. The people actually wrong. We are actually very enlightened, just not in the right language. So we need to change the way you go to China. When you come to our side, we're prepared to get interpreter if you don't know how to speak outside.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We do wish you all of the best
in
your quest. Thank you. And people, that's the size of our program for tonight. Happy holidays to you. And remember, Nigeria is our country and we must work towards the betterment of this country. My name is Ubong Usora in Abuja and I'm saying bye for now.